Really, I'm having a great time continuing to prove people wrong all my life. Continuing to prove people wrong. Even when I first got into the game, I faced the same thing, because I didn't get into the game until I was 23. I had square jobs. I worked for Nordstrom's. I worked for Neiman Marcus. I had square jobs. I didn't get into the game until I was 23 years old. So dudes that had gotten to the game in their teenage years, they wouldn't take me serious. Oh, man, Dre is square. You know what I'm saying? But how could I be when I grew up with Mel Taylor, one of the most premier guys in the game ever, So I really had an advantage when I started off in the game, because not only did my father tell me, to study and read up on square life, because the squares run the world. As much as you try to downplay a square, them people run the world. So, it's kind of funny that you think you in a position when they the ones that got all the position. So the best thing to do is to get some of those characteristics on what they're using to run this world with, and then apply that to your game, to apply that to your life, so that you can bubble bigger. So that's what I did. That's what gave me an advantage. It was those square things that I learned that I mixed with the game that gave me an advantage over most cats in the game. You know what I'm saying? Which allowed me to be in places and get into places where the average guy couldn't get to, because he was detected. I said it to you guys before. So, what my father told me is he don't prepare nobody for your strengths. So what I did, I just studied, observed, and was around a bunch of successful square people, learning them. You know what I'm saying? Learning every move and every characteristic so that I could be camouflaged as I was maneuvering in my life. And what that did is it gave me access to places that a lot of other dudes in the game couldn't get access to, because all they had was a ghetto mentality. So they couldn't get into those places because the square folks saw them coming a million miles away. So they shut the door. But me, I looked and acted like them, right? So they thought I was a part of them. So the doors were open for me. So when the doors are open, I'm able to bring my strength into the equation, bring the game, which I was able to do. That allowed me to be in so many places that a lot of dudes couldn't be in, So I'm just making sure you guys understand that. Don't frown upon knowledge and how squares is operating in life. You have to respect them, because true enough, they're doing something right because they're running this world. So the best thing for you to do, that would behoove you, is to go and get educated and read. That's why I told you guys some of the books that you guys should read. James Allen, As a Man Thinketh, Og Mandino, The Greatest Salesman in the World. Get that Sid Harther by Herman Hesse. Get that Games People Play by Eric Byrne. These are foundational books that you can get, and because they deal with the mind. They deal with the mind. And then as you bring that information begins to camouflage the hood in the streets. And that's what you got to do, because that's your foundation. If you happen to come from the streets and you happen to come from them jungles, you don't want to scare nobody, right? You want to make sure that you camouflage that shit, because that could scare white folks that's in them powerful positions, or Jews or whatever that's in those powerful positions, because what they don't want to be associated with is violence, is physical violence. They have armies to take care of their violence. You know what I'm saying? So, what this does, it just camouflages. That's why when I was in the social justice and they knew me as Gorgeous Dre the Pimp, but they couldn't see it. They trying to put two and two together when I would speak, my disposition, how I carried myself, how calm I was, because all the other stuff they couldn't see. Now, if I would have coming out like, man, what's up, man, and all this kind of stuff, I wouldn't have got to any of them doors. So I'm saying camouflage your strengths so they can work for you.